I'm less than 24 hours after hundreds of migrants were seen sleeping on a New York City sidewalk. They were suddenly gone yesterday afternoon. City officials not offering details on exactly what happened to them. It comes as the city struggles to find housing for the flood of asylum seekers pouring into the city. With us now, Joe Borelli, New York City Council Minority Leader. Joe, it's always great to have you on. I mean, where'd they go, right? The city is saying, well, they went to an interim place. And the only place we really know where about 110 of these people went is to a church on Long Island. That's a lot of unaccounted people, Joe. What's going on?
Yeah, beyond sleeping in the church basement, I don't really have any idea. Look, let me be clear, though. I'm glad they're not camping out in front of the hotel. We have to be more proactive in front of all of these migrant shelters where this type of behavior is happening. But to be clear, Trace, we've leased over 100 hotels for this purpose. We have a population of migrants right now larger than the population of Helena, Montana, who we are paying for their room, their board, their health care, their education, everything. This is an unsustainable situation, and it really is only evidenced by the fact that these people are sleeping on the streets because they just won't stop coming.
Yeah, Eric Adams was pleading with the Biden administration. I'm going to show some of that sound, and we'll get your response on the other side. Watch.
There is no more room. We have not got money. Out of the $850 million that Senator Schumer and Leader Jeffrey was able to push through, we got 30 million. And there were bordering states that received more money than us, and they're using the money to bus people to New York.
Well, Kyrsten Sinema is going to push back on that in a second. I'll hold that for a minute. But the mayor also said that he will not have tents on every street. But this is a guy who rolled out the welcome wagon, right? He said, come on in, bragged about the fact they were a sanctuary city. And now he's like, the sanctuary city status is just unattainable.
Yeah, I think their first thought was maybe there'd be 5,000 people, 10,000 people. Maybe it'd be a cute experiment to show how progressive we are. But now, unfortunately, he's not wrong. There is literally no more room at the inn, and New York taxpayers can't bear this brunt any longer. Trace, we're paying more than the entire budget of the fire department and the sanitation department right now every single day to pay for this crisis. We simply can't afford it, and unfortunately, the federal government has not been a partner. If anything, they have been an adversary on this because they were the ones who originally started flying migrants and busing them to these states. It wasn't Greg Abbott. It wasn't other governors. It was the federal government who started this process.
It was the federal government who opened the borders, and that's the point. And Kyrsten Sinema said the following: the reason the money, and she's saying, they're not getting any money in the border states. The reason the money is going to New York is because the Speaker of the House is from New York and the leader of the U.S. Senate is from New York. The fact that the money goes to New York City is wrong because they are not border states and they are not facing the kind of pressure we are. And New York and Eric Adams and none of these other states said a word when these migrants were flooding Arizona and Texas, which they still are. And nobody said a word until they came their way. Your final thoughts on this, Joe?
I empathize with people in the border states, but now our whole country is a border state because of the failure of Joe Biden, period, full stop. We had a president who made this issue a priority, and things were much better. Not perfect, but much better. And we need to go back to a policy, the policies of the Trump administration.
Yeah, and they keep talking about, we need immigration reform. Immigration reform would change the immigration system. It would not stop people from coming across the border because even with immigration reform, you can only let in so many. Joe Borelli, always great to have you on. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.